Time to being with us again on this show. It is Diplomatic Clicks, and we shall be looking at is South Africa killing other Africans. You know, there has been reports of very worrying reports from South Africa about renewed wave of xenophobic attacks. And matter of fact, just over just a week ago, hundreds of Operation Dudula members marched through the streets of Durban, demanding that the government take strong action to deal with high numbers of illegal immigrants. Now, the Dudula, as they call themselves, this is an organization that has been formed in Durban, South Africa, and of course it has other, it has other branches across South Africa that is meant to coerce the government, and it's meant to get rid of other African immigrants that are settled and working in South Africa. So they've even formed a movement and an organization for that, so that it will form the basis of our conversation this morning. Thank you so much. My name is Mira Mugutu, and on the other end of the Political Command Center, we do have Dr. David Matanga. Doctor, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam. Thank you very much for hosting us this morning and for the viewers across the continent of Africa. It is sad that when we sit here and we see a continent of Africa going into pieces, into flames, xenophobic attacks that are taking place in South Africa must not be left out of condemnation. We must call out, we must call them, we must call the names, we must say exactly what is taking place in South Africa. Across the entire Southern Africa, xenophobic attacks have increased. These are aimed at people who went to South Africa, who do businesses, some of them who left their countries and they have been in South Africa. This has increased for the last 6 years or so. More so, it became worse in 2017-18 when blacks in South Africa decided to attack blacks from some other parts of Africa, namely from Kenya, Mozambique, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, and Cameroon. All these attacks are not different from those who rendered Africans from Europe, from the Mediterranean Sea borders back to Africa through rendition. Is there the same? This time the difference is this is being done by the EEF, a party that talks of defending Africa, that talks of pure Africanization, that says they are together with Africans, blacks to blacks, killing Somalis who have their corner shops, killing Asians who have come in from other parts to join to be in South Africa. What is the problem? What are the underlying obstacles that have brought South African population to rise against their own fellow blacks, killing them, mutilating them, putting them on wire? I saw one newspaper, the Sowetan. I think if the production team can put it online, Sowetan newspaper, they are using cables, electric cables, to actually kill blacks. They put water and they put the cable in your mouth, and all the intestines are burnt. Some of these are very, very cruel methods that I cannot even display on this television. But what is the problem in South Africa? Miriam, that is what we want to engage ourselves. If you look at how many Africans have ever helped South Africa, you'll find very many. Each African country has got at least a refugee that came from South Africa, in Egypt, in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Uganda, in Kenya, in most parts in South Sudan, in Sudan, Khartoum, in Somalia. There are so many South Africans who use Somali passports under Siad Barre to run away from apartheid. There are so many South Africans who use Ugandan passports. Up to today, they bear Ugandan names. Marui, Kurui, Masanga. They are all there in that southern part of Africa. Because they came out of South Africa to go and seek new pastures away from apartheid regime. Nobody killed them. People gave them food. But what is going on in South Africa is not something you can keep quiet and watch and wait as an African and just say, we start helpless. Every time you switch on any television about Southern Africa, xenophobic attacks increase on a daily basis from town to town. While they are doing so, the government is not intervening to a level that can satisfy international agencies that something is being done. They are glorifying the same people, leader of opposition, Mr. Marema, whom people thought that once he takes over an opposition position, he could quell down his youths and the mobs and the jobs who are actually killing Africans. But Marema has become a conduit of destabilization of South Africa. So, is this the South Africa that we wanted? And if so, is it the South Africa that we want to look at? What is the problem of South Africa? Why are they killing fellow blacks? Miriam, back to you.
All right, Doc, yes, indeed. And of course, this is something that we've been looking at and talking about, the issue that has to do with South Africa. And as I mentioned there, this Operation Dudula, it is a splinter group from a fraction in the Put South Africa's First Movement, an organization that first popularized and renewed anti-immigrant campaigns on social media before finding expression on the ground. The new movement is led by a person named Nalala Dlamini, and surprisingly, he's 36 years old, very young. And when I've been watching this protest and this operation and this group itself, I've not seen any older South Africans being part of these groups. It's a lot of it are young people, and as you can see, the leader there is 36 years old. So is it because perhaps, Doc, this generation or that age, maybe they don't understand the contribution the rest of the continent, like you've said there, had as far as ending apartheid in South Africa? That's why they don't understand and respect, the importance of the contribution of other African countries, and that's why they feel the other Africans should not be in South Africa.
That's a generational change. And maybe, yes, you are right. The new generation of South Africans don't know the contribution, just as the new generation of Kenyans in Kenya are not aware of Mau Mau. They don't know what contribution Kenyatta made, Moi made, Kibaki made. The people who were born in 1990, 2000 are now 20 years. They are new voters in Kenya. They don't know what repression was there in Moi's regime. I agree with you totally. Those are the people who now don't know. They don't know who is an enemy and who is not an enemy. And the media, believe me or not, most of these countries, we have that problem. And I can see Gladwell is waiting to be the team. So one of the problems that we have is generational change, the gap. The people now in my country don't know that Matanga used to be there. They hear about me, but they don't know that I was there. I'm a Ugandan. They read about Google and other things. They find out who I am. Some of them even hate you when they don't know you. But these are the people who do they bother about history. If you say today, Gladwell Chirago, you give her to study Mau Mau history, she will study it because she's from the mountain. But if you tell her about the story of Lenana, the Maasai warrior chief who fought the whites, you'll say, oh, it existed. Oh, okay. But if you tell Kiragu about Mau Mau, say, oh, yes. In our last argument on this show a few hours ago, you saw how she was saying, I mean, until Miriam had to say, let's now leave it and jump to another topic. They know people have the right, like the Zulu. South Africans now, the new generation of the Malemas, seem to read about the ANC, but they don't know that the ANC was built in Addis Ababa. They don't know that the ANC was built in Kampala. They don't know how many presidents were overthrown in Africa because of their support for ANC. They don't know that Uganda received a first military coup in 1971 because we were crying for the liberation of Zimbabwe and South Africa. Edward Heath told our President Obote that you might be here crying, but you might be crying for the last time in Singapore. By the time Obote woke and got on a plane to come all the way to fly into Kampala, when he reached the East African Airways by then, he was told, please, don't try to cross the airspace. Just divert your plane to Dar es Salaam because General Idi Amin has overthrown the government. And that was the first day I was going to from primary school to senior secondary school. And my father left me on the road with a metallic box because I didn't know my father was a politician. I could see him do posters. I could see him campaign for Uganda People's Congress. But I was dropped on the road. I didn't know where to go, but the taxman said, I'll take you up to Tororop Tax Park and I'll put you in a taxi that takes you to your school with my metallic box. But inside my heart, Dad, I might not see him again. So these are some of the things that South African youth, the current mobs that are killing people, don't know. In 2015, Miriam, they killed more people. Xenophobic attacks started. The attacks started, they started killing people. They killed Zimbabweans. They told Zimbabweans to leave that country. The main hatred now is on Zimbabweans. Focus on Zimbabweans. But the point here is there is also ultranationalist movements like George Soros that want to create a regime change in the governments like the one in Zimbabwe by forcing these immigrants to leave Zimbabwe and South Africa and go home in order to put pressure and a division among the two states, then go home and start a rebellion. Some of them have been trained to become guerrilla tacticians who can actually start guerrilla warfare within the states of Zimbabwe and other states where they are going back to. So for me, it's a sad story that we East Africans give South Africans free entry passports. We stamp their passports. We stamp their visa free. But South Africans up to today put us on visa regime that any black man coming from Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda is black scheme. You have to get your visa, pay for it, wait for it, bring your documents as a full suitcase of documents, your father as if you are going to get any diamond or gold from South Africa. Another area that is sparking these xenophobic attacks is the area of infrastructure that has not improved since apartheid regime. The apartheid regime left the infrastructure which is standing, which nobody has tried to improve. South Africa still has the same type of infrastructure that apartheid regime constructed. Is this structure enough for the people, the blacks, the whites, the yellow that are in South Africa? I think we find it a very big problem, Miriam, here again, that lack of infrastructure and a lack of jobs, creation of jobs, has led to idle people turning onto human beings and eating them, slaughtering them, cooking them, burning them, and putting power lines, cable lines in the mouths of the people for them to burn, to roast while they are watching and laughing. So this type of life is not the life that Africa needs. Africa needs to change. The AU needs to come in and warn South Africa. Another point that South Africa becomes a stumbling block to African unity is we wanted to have African passports. We filled up the forms for African passports. And the South African government rejected wholesomely and failed that notion in Addis Ababa. Because they claim that if you give people passports, everybody will be in South Africa. And the economy of South Africa is not able to handle every African. So this type of thinking, Miriam, does exist. And I don't think we might be saying something which is not going to happen. It will happen if the genocide, the killings of these other people takes place. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And I see that we've been joined by Gladwell Kiragu. Gladwell, if you can hear me, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning to Miriam. Good morning to Doc. Good morning to all viewers.
All right, so we're looking at the South African the history with xenophobia. And just before you come in, let me just bring us up to date and perhaps remind us of some of the recent incidences, even starting from 1994, just back then. Xenophobic harassment and violence against African and Asian foreigners living in South Africa are routine and sometimes lethal, according to Human Rights Watch, and we've seen how that has played out. Prior to 1994, immigrants from elsewhere faced discrimination and even violence in South Africa. After majority rule in 1994, contrary to expectations, the incidences of xenophobia increased, and between 2000 and March 2008, at least 67 people died in what were identified as xenophobic attacks. In May 2008, a series of attacks left 62 people dead. Although 21 of those killed were South African citizens, the attack were motivated by xenophobia. In 2015, another nationwide spike in xenophobic attacks against immigrants in general prompted a number of foreign governments to begin repatriating their citizens. A Pew Research poll conducted in 2018 showed that 62% of South Africans viewed immigrants as a burden on society by taking jobs and social benefits, and 61% of South Africans thought that immigrants were more responsible for crime than other groups. And of course, between 2010 and 2017, the immigrant community in South Africa increased from 2 million people to 4 million people, despite all those incidences that we've been seeing. So the xenophobic attacks that we've been seeing playing out in South Africa are particularly directed to other Africans, not Asians, not white people, who have so much to blame for what is happening in South Africa, not any other race, but their fellow Africans. Those are the people they don't want from other countries in that country. I mean, what's your thoughts on all this?
Yes, Miriam. Yeah, it's true. And another thing, just to add on what Doc said and what you've read, it's funny because South Africa, it's also part of Africa. And we are Africa at large. But now the issue is the animosity they're bringing towards the fellow Africans. And another thing, if you can see, for example, South Africa wants to visit Kenya, he or she is very much allowed. And, with the passport, they have no issue. But what happens when another African is visiting South Africa? And you can see that's why that all this, I don't know why they fear outsiders. And I was reading the meaning of xenophobia, and it is fear of outsiders. I mean, the extreme intense fear and dislike of customs and culture and the people. I really don't understand why they fear the outsiders. I mean, we are Africans. We are Africans, for Christ's sake. And another thing with our South Africa, crime rate is very high, sorry. And also corruption, it all starts with there. And now the issue of them saying that it's the outsiders, the migrants who cause the crime, I'm not sure about it because, how can an outsider, yes, it happens, yes, it's true, it happens. But, it first starts with how they take things too. Because there's no way you can choose a migrant out of from your country and you expect the same treatment. So I would also ask the other countries, in Africa, if South Africa is not comfortable having migrants in their country, so should not also be comfortable having them in our country. Let everybody stay in his or her country. Yes, and be free to visit a country that actually embraces and welcomes you. That's my thought.
Mm-hmm. And of course, yesterday, on Tuesday, the Economic Freedom Fighters, that is the opposition party in South Africa, led by none other than Malema, South Africa's third largest political party, organized a peaceful protest along the country's borders in the KwaZulu-Natal and Mpumalanga provinces with the neighboring Eswatini. Tuesday's protests, the EFF said, were part of renewed efforts to raise awareness about ongoing repression against pro-democracy protests in Eswatini. And I'll just keep a bit and get you what the spokesperson of, the EFF spokesperson Sinao Tambo told Al Jazeera, "We closed the borders to show King Mswati that borders are merely fences, and that if the EFF and many other South Africans resolve to pledge our concrete solidarity with the people of Eswatini, that would flood the borders, which desperate us, and deliver freedom to our people." So they're saying this is an opposition party in South Africa. So they were protesting in the border with Eswatini because of what they feel has been going there, things that has to do with human rights violations and things like that. And I think this is a story that we've been covering for a while now. So they feel as South Africans, they want to be their brother's keeper and go to Eswatini and do all that stuff. And interesting there, this person says, our borders are just fences. We are still the same people. So why can't this apply to the rest of Africans who go to South Africa? Are we not the same people, or the degree matters? Doc? The oxymoronic of this story here. Okay, we seem to have lost a doc there. I'm not sure he's still there, but so it's interesting. And Gladwell, as you've said there, like they don't have a problem with Asians. Have a lot of Indians who are there as South Africans who have lived there. They're generations. There in South Africa, they have businesses and they're okay. We have other races, white people, other people from around the world who have settled and now work in South Africa. But the only problem they have is with other Africans. That is the part that always confuses me. Because how do you hate so much your skin? People with the same color, how do you have a problem with that? How do you call them foreigners? Well, they're in another African country. They're supposed to be at home, if anything. But anyway, Doc.
Yeah, the story has sickened my head that's why you saw me going down like this. I said, surely we have been very good people across the continent of Africa. But the payment we are receiving is not a payment that we need to have. It's more or less like a payment of revenge. And at the same time, South Africa itself seems not to be managing its own affairs internally. You saw the disaster that occurred in Durban. A whole nation of South Africa is not prepared to cater for, to know that areas like those could cause problems. They have left houses, they have cut down the trees. We have a problem here. But as Africa, we need to come out with a solution. The solution is also to put these people on border, on our visas. We allow them to come. We allow them to come to our borders. We give them time on our borders. We give them visa at entry points. In Uganda, you find so many of them conducting business, MTN everywhere. These are not Africans who can tolerate, who can be tolerated. The African, South African, if you go to the embassy, you ask to bring documents, full box of documents, in order to be given a small visa. And you are going there for business in South Africa. We are talking about African integration. Where is it? When will it come? If we can't cross from here to DRC Congo, if you want to get a visa to go DRC Congo, you have to get the visa from Paris. Are we mad in Africa? Have we become mad people? Let anybody here tell me what wrong we have done. Are we bewitched as Africans? You want a visa, you go to DRC Congo. You have to go and apply, they take you to, it goes to France first. Now it has come to East African community. Let's see whether it can help. But the bottom line, Miriam, as you say, look at the type of gymnastics that is taking place. Is there an external hand in the South African issue when it comes to Zimbabwe? For example, most of the targeted immigrants are Zimbabweans who have been killed in huge numbers. Is it time for us also to ask South Africa to pay us back the money that we put in our liberation of South Africa? Is it? How long are we going to sit down and watch our people, black people, being maimed by fellow blacks? And we welcome them to our countries. What type of Africa is this that we are growing? Isn't it time for us also to target South Africa and say, no, if you are coming from South Africa, bring us your application for visa. We shall look into it. We don't want you to come here and enjoy our tea, our women, our everything. Because they like our women. They take our tea, they take everything of us. But they don't want us to go there, even to sit. Even you are going to go and do business, you can't be given a visa in 2 days. They tell you come in 7 days. What type of African country is this stupid? This is a rubbish country. I don't need to go to South Africa. I've sworn never. The only friend I had in South Africa is no longer in power. That is Mbeki. The rest of these presidents that you see are useless. They are useless. Yeah. Ramaphosa has killed South Africa. He's compromised South Africa. Zuma killed South Africa, destroyed it, gave it to the Indian, the Gupta, operatives. They siphoned all the resources outside the country and they left the country a shell. There's no South Africa here. They are killing Nigerians, slaughtering Cameroonians, slaughtering Kenyans, slaughtering Somali. They hate Zimbabweans. Yet Mugabe suffered for the liberation of South Africa. He was bombed almost every day. They hate Zambians. They hate the Mozambicans. You can imagine what type of South Africa is this? Is this a country that you can think that it is in the first world generation? We've lost it. Let's lose it. Let's also start putting visas. Let's announce visa restriction for South Africans entering our countries. Yes. Yes. That is the proposal. Matanga always follows it with a word. Kenya, Uganda, and other countries should impose visa restrictions on South Africans. They should not come here. They should also apply to come here. Why should we apply to go to South Africa when we were in the same Africa? When you are in South Africa, Miriam, you are in a restaurant eating food or drinking a beer. My South African friend was telling me, welcome to Africa. I said, excuse me, I came from Nairobi. He said, Nairobi is not Africa. This is the real Africa. I'm telling you, he told me, and he's a career diplomat in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who had invited me in Joburg, in the Hotel Intercontinental Oliver Tambo Hotel near the airport of Oliver Tambo. That's my hotel. If you go there, they will tell you, they know me even from a distance of 50 meters. They say that is our client for many years. The diplomat told me that. He said, welcome to Africa, my brother David Matsan. I said, Allah. So I have been in the in which planet was I? He said, this is the real Africa. Up there, you are not Africa. And they have taken these things seriously. Now that it has left the elite and it has jumped to the populists. From the populists, it has now gone to vigilante groups, vigilantes who are killing people. Look at that. So, at the end of the day, viewers, you might say, we don't need to put any embargo on these friends of ours from South Africa, but diplomatic notes should be written to them to tell them we are not happy with the killings of our fellow Africans who are being banned, who are being thrown into rivers, into oceans, into the Indian Ocean, who are being cut to pieces, who are being burned by tires around their necks because they own a small shop in Johannesburg, or Durban, or Cape Town, or any city of South Africa. It is wrong, and we must stand up as Africans, and the African Union must take up the matter and summon President Ramaphosa to explain to the people of Africa why South Africans ban us, why South Africans are roasting us like a meat, why they are roasting black Africans and are putting them to die, why they are cutting them to pieces. What have they done wrong? If I don't speak, Africa gets tired. If Africa doesn't hear my voice, Africa gets worked out. I have remained the honest voice speaking out for Africa, that this is what I will do up to the last iota of my life. I am not burdened. I don't need to go to South Africa because there's nothing they can offer me, which I don't have. I have everything. I have the age. I have the tools of analysis. I'm not going to lecture to their university. There are so many universities that I can lecture in Europe. Even Bazungu can listen to me. But a country of that nature, of stupidity, of a foreign policy and internal policy that discriminates Africans and kills Somalis, Nigerians, Cameroonians, Kenyans, Zimbabweans, and other countries that have gone there is a stupid country. I submit.
Very well. And that is where we end our show, just on top of the hour, 2 minutes past midday here in Nairobi. Thank you so much, Gladwell Kiragu. Thank you so much, Dr.
Miriam, before you end the show,
Yes.
I would like to announce to you my results.
Yeah, go ahead.
The results of my poll. Kiragu was right. I think we have a problem here. 85% of the people that I scientifically polled who came on my, out of the 700 or so, between 8 o'clock to now, 85%, mainly women, say Martha Karua. And only 15% said Kalonzo. No, 14% said Kalonzo, 1% wrote funny things on my paper. So there you are. I didn't ask them to give reasons as to why, but I asked them to vote. I am going to declare it now on my Facebook that I conducted an opinion poll. I can see Kiragu smiling. But God, my stand has been taken, and I want to thank President Uhuru Kenyatta this morning. And from last night, I've been harassing everybody, talking loudly. Matsanga, I do talk loudly. And at times, Miriam, some of the things arrive. And they called this meeting because I said things are not going well. So at least there is peace in Azimio now. And as Raila flies out of this country to go and have his lectures and to lecture to people and talk to the senior, unlike the one of UDA who faked his way to go and collect money from evangelical churches. Raila is going to see the people, to put the interest of the people in Europe and America. He can go now. And I'm happy they have now selected a technical expert team. That's what Matsanga suggested yesterday. Expert team. Give me a club. Give me a club, you ladies. I suggested get an expert panel that can sit down, advise Raila with option, facts and fiction. Facts. And let me tell you, Miriam, if the turn-up in Mount Kenya is 40%, can I repeat slowly? If the turnout in Mount Kenya is 40%, Mr. Arap Mashamba, chicken seller, will see his Sungoi home as early as 2 o'clock on that day. Chicken Mashamba needs 60% turnout. And out of that 60%, over 40, 80% must vote for him. Can't you give me another degree for opinion polls? You people don't like to encourage a human being when he's doing such heavy work. Honestly, don't I deserve it? If the turn-up medium is 60%, it is only Ruto must sleep and go to Enugu, where his son-in-law comes from, and get some magic to get a turn-up of 60% in Mount Kenya. Then he can beat anybody or talk. But if the turn-up is going to be between 40 and 45%, cut the trees in Sungoi. That's why I based on that. And I've just come out and I put my position that if I were Raila Amolo Odinga, I would take Kalonzo as a running mate. And I go back, unite. I was very happy to see Kalonzo talking to Kirit. Is it Kirit? I don't know. Okay. Charity. I'm used to Ngirichi. Charity. The women from the mountain keep on disturbing my name, my mouth, and my tongue. Charity Njiru. I saw them talking at the KICC. All of them talked. This time, I think everything is going to be well. Martha Karwa's interested. She said she wants to be the governor of Kirinyaga. Let's support her to be the governor of Kirinyaga. If things change, after 100 days, we can bring her and become the prime minister so that she can run the government and do a by-election. Yeah. But for now, I'm happy. So my noise makes things move. God bless. They have moved, they have resolved it. Because if Raila went without resolving this, by the time he comes back here, he must have 28th next month. 28th next month. By Thursday, 28th. Today is 21st. Is it or 22nd? I don't know. I've lost the count. Is it 21st today?
21st, yes.
So he has 7 days. Within these 7 days, while he's in America, he must name his candidate. And his team has to work day out, produce the naming sheet, facts and fiction. That's what they are going to do. Thanks to Matanga. Thanks. God bless. Thank you very much. Kiragu, do you have any more comment? 80% of you women came and voted Karua. You connived and called everybody to come on my wall to vote that they like Karua. 15% gave me Kalonzo. Voila, wow, wow. Whew. What a tragedy. That's what has happened to me. So I have to announce my results as they are. I looked for Kalonzo's name. It was really not showing. It was drawn in the water of
right.
So thank you very much.